And here we go with geology. Geology, mini geology. A little piece of geology for you. This is Daniel Minizini, your crazy geology, half Italian, half Spanish, half American, marathoner, and terrible husband. Today we're going to talk about why we have this program in here, why we have mini geology, why we talk about geology in Houston. We are going to talk also about geology outside the fishbowl. We're going to go outside Texas and we're going to talk with some geologists on the West Coast. Then we are going to interview one of the most representative person about geology in Houston, which is the president of the Houston Geological Society, the largest local geological society in the world, with almost 4,000 members. There are cities that they don't even have those many geologists. And then we are going to talk also lately in the persistent unemployment among geoscientists here in Houston, in the so-called capital of energy, or energy capital of the world. So please call 713-526-5738. Call, ask questions, send us some messages or tweets in the Facebook page and Twitter at Mini Geology, or just call this number so you're going to be on the air to ask questions to the president of the Houston Geological Society, or to myself, or just to forge this program, which is an experiment. It's the first program about geology in the city that is aiming to be on the air every week. But it is up to you to decide if we're going to be here every week, because we need some feedback. This is Voices. I represent one community, the community of the geologists. So call 713-526-5738. And if you are not in the country, because you can listen to this program also from abroad, just remember to put number 1, because we are in United States. So, why a program about geology in Houston? Well, because Houston for geologists is like Rome for the priests, is like Hollywood for the actors, or Paris for poets, Paris, France, not Paris, Texas, or like, what else? It is very, very important, this city, for the geologists. Not that the geologists, they want to come in here, they have to come in here. It's like a little bit Washington for politicians. They have to go there. They have to know what's going on there. So the geologists, in their life, at least once, they have been here in Houston. Then they'll continue coming, because this is the energy capital of the world. We have around 5,000 energy-related firms around geology. This is written in the website of the city. And we have in here many thousands of geologists. Just think about the cities that generally have few tens or hundreds of geologists. Maybe the city with the highest number of geologists is Denver, and it has around 2,000. Well, in Houston, we have around 8 or 10,000 of geologists. So there's a reason why we are here in Houston, why Houston is the energy capital of the world. It has great geology. In this case, I mean great reservoirs that are producing resources. And those were discovered at the beginning of the century, 1901, 1905, 1907. They were the giant discoveries. One of the famous is the Spindletop that was discovered just 90 miles east of Houston. And that made Texas oil the fuel of choice for the ships in the new car industry. At that time, the car industry was in the infancy. So the capital is the investment interest is shift from the northeast to the southwest. Then what happened, and it was very key to have Houston as this capital of the energy, is that in 1914, while the war was fighting in a war, there's the opening of the Houston Ship Channel that is connecting this city with the Gulf of Mexico and with the international markets. And this is a long channel with a lot of cheap land around. And so, because the cheap land was there to be bought, then the refineries follow this excitement. And with the refineries, then we have the oil products. And then we have the pipelines that they have to move the oil products. So there's a positive feedback that created kind of a magnet for this city, a magnet that attracted capital investment. Then it attracted expertise. In fact, we have a lot of institutions, private labs, research lab, universities in here, and then workforce. That is how the city grew and grew and grew, and is expanding also because of geomorphology that we have in here, so flat. There's no mountains or lakes that are stopping this expansion like in other cities, like on the coast. So, and then this is the status at the beginning of the century, and then few decades later, in the 20s and 30s, the gas entered the market and benefit the existence of this infrastructure, so attracted more and more industry. So it was a positive feedback, and the rest, is history. That's the reason why we are here. So, but without a doubt, this industry that grew to such size impacted with the political, the economic, the social, the cultural, the environmental, and I would say also the diplomatic aspect of history. Because of the geology that we have underground, all of these things, they were impacted. And this is why we are here today. And that is why we'll talk both to geologists and non-geologists, to professionals and to laymen. So excuse me if I am too precise and you are a novice, or if I'm not so much precise and you are a professional. So, don't forget that the deregulation also was an important factor. So the fact that Texas at that time and even today also has not those many rules attract a lot of enterprises to do kind of experiments. So it's a kind of a mixed blessing, like somebody wrote in some books. And on one side you have the wealth, on the other side you have the pollution. I don't mean now, but at that time there was a lot of pollution. So we run this program because we have a community. It's a community that is open-minded. Geologists, they really are, even if there's a fan of different geologists. And we will talk about them from A to Z. This is a community that is international. Just listen to my broken English and this funny accent. And then we have multidisciplinary. The geologists, they are not just studying geology. They are like... they break pieces of the geologists, they take just the geo and then they put it together with physicists and they create geophysicists. Or, like the Playmobiles, and then they take a piece of the geology and they attach it to the body of a chemist, and you have a geochemist or a geobiologist. Or we can talk about geology when you study the planets out there, because geo is referred just to our Mother Earth, but there are exogeologists that they study the planets out there, and these are our friends NASA that are living here, our neighbors. And our other neighbors are also in the medical center, so we also have medical geology. So, and then we have kind of hybrid, is we agglutinate engineers, lawyers, economists, because there's a lot of wealth there. So the community grows, is hybrid, agglutinated, is a conglomerate of different people. And then we go from being petroleum geologists, the main character of the geologists here in Houston, to environmentalists, activists. Not those many here, but they are present in here. We talk about this with the president of the Houston Geological Society. And by the way, I'm one of those weird animals that I'm working for an energy company, but I'm kind of impregnated with this passion for the environment. I'm kind of a, what's the name, a chimera, that Greek mythological creature that is composed of different parts of other animals. So, well, actually, is a lion, but it's a goat is coming out from his back, and he has a snake. Well, you can think, it's in the tail. The tail is a snake. So, we are Greeks. They have the ocean crust up in the mountains. So I was saying that we have a community, right? So we run these programs because we want to bring these characters of geology, some of which are really spectral, but some other ones that are pretty cool and inspirational. So we bring them together in this imaginative place, which is the radio. This is a spectacular medium that is reaching all of you. And you know what? Here is strictly forbidden a PowerPoint. We are against PowerPoint in the radio. So, radio is the medium, and you are listening to us now. And you are not watching at me, you are not watching at anything, you are watching at what you like. Your brain is open to imagination, and you make your connections. So we offer this geological community, this rich community, this crowded community here in Houston, Texas, to the great society, which is you, the citizens, you that are on the other side of this glass. I see Patrick there and OBDK. So this is for you. It's not just for the professionals. It's because you need to understand how the politics and the economics, and Dwayne Briley there as well, is all for you to understand why we vote in such a way or in such another way. Is for the great society. That is why we want to keep this program. So you have to call. I don't see call. Call 713-526-5738. Call and let us know what you think about that. 713-526-5738.
Hey, Daniel, we actually got a message from Johnny. He has two questions for you. One is, how many geologists are living and working in South Dakota? And the second question, he asks, how many geologists are working to educate the public on the dangers of fracking?
So we have them. I can tell you the numbers, and we're going to have the president helping us about the numbers of the geologists in North Dakota, which is like is a balloon inflating and deflating according to the economy. And we really have people and students and professors that are studying the effects of the hydrofracking. The energy companies, they are intimately related with the studies, not in the sense that they want to influence them negatively, like we sometimes listen to the news, but because they want to understand what is wrong in order to enhance and ameliorate the fracking. If it is polluting, the energy companies, they want to have a solution for that, because the public is watching, and so there are going to be it's going to be bad visibility if they don't fix that. So thanks for those calls. We're going to take also more calls, and then important. So we say that we have the geological community, and we're going to talk with the great community. And how are we going to do it? We're going to do it through curiosities. We're going to talk to everybody about the relationship between geology and you, your daily life. So we can talk about tourism. We geologists, we know where you go to the Bahamas, why you go to the Yosemite Park, why you go to Hawaii, and so on and so forth. And then we may talk about diamonds, or why the houses here in Houston are on pier and beams and we don't have basement, or why we have so many floods. So, and then we're going to do it through internal debates. And this, we're going to bring in like influential people and like the president here of Houston Geological Society. But then also we're going to talk with common people, common geologists like you that you're listening and myself. We're going to have a piece about voices on the street of people that are talking about the problem with unemployment. So then we're going to talk also with other parts of the world and put in relationship geologists in Houston, Texas with other places. And that is why now we are going to call a very good professional geologist that is in the West Coast. His name is Steve, and I'm going to introduce to you this great friend of mine that he recently moved from Texas to Washington State.